Good morning everyone, and thanks for joining. My name is Mark Duggan and I'm the Customer Success Manager at Indicat, which is part of Central Innovation. I have the pleasure of taking you through today's presentation and hopefully sharing some insights with you that you'll find useful. Indicat has been working with manufacturers for over 30 years, and alongside SOLIDWORKS we focus on helping our clients design better products and ultimately become more competitive. Along the way, we've also developed a number of our own solutions to help customers get more value from their engineering tools. Things like Sharp Task for automation, MaxLink for BOM management, and our latest product, MaxFlow, for workflow and engineering process automation. Today we're going to look at how AI is starting to play a role in that same journey. So what we'll look to cover is what AI means inside of SOLIDWORKS, how to connect to the platform, which has changed over time, 2026 3D Experience World Highlights as they pertain to AI, and maybe some steps on what you could do next if you're interested in going down this path. What is AI in SOLIDWORKS? When we talk about AI in SOLIDWORKS, this isn't a new product you bolt on. It's not a separate tool. AI is embedded directly into the SOLIDWORKS environment and powered through the 3D Experience platform connection. At its core, it's still the parametric modelling software that you trust. It's just now it's been enhanced with AI capabilities. Many AI features like Smart Mates and Sketch Assist don't even require your data to be stored on the platform. They work locally in session. It's integrated, it's contextual, and it's built into the SOLIDWORKS you already use. So let's have a look at AI in SOLIDWORKS. AI has actually been in SOLIDWORKS for years. Things like Smart Mates, auto dimensioning, sketch repair, that's all AI working quietly in the background. What's changed now is the level of capability. We're moving from Automate AI, which looks at removing repetitive tasks, Assist AI, predicting what you're about to do next, to Co-Create AI, where the system actually helps generate layouts, drawings, and design intent with you. The key thing to understand is AI features like Aura run inside your secure cloud tenant. Your design data does not leave your environment and is not used to train some global public model. The 3D Experience platform gives you secure, sovereign control of your intellectual property. It's context-aware AI, and it gives you a scalable foundation for future workflows. AI in SOLIDWORKS is not about hype or the tax you pay when you design. It's about engineering efficiency, fewer repetitive operations, faster drawing creation, better use of existing data, giving you more time to focus on your design intent and performance. Towards the end of the presentation, we're going to look at the next wave. Image to model, mesh to parametric, a lot of interesting stuff still to come. So going back to our agenda, what AI means inside of SOLIDWORKS, just have a look at a few examples. As mentioned, AI's been in SOLIDWORKS for some time, since 2023, and I've got a few other examples that are even later. For those who haven't seen, the command predictor uses transformer-based AI trained on anonymized workflows from thousands of users. Predicts your next command based on the context, whether you're sketching, modeling, or in an assembly. It offers up to 10 likely commands in a simple toolbar, keeping you in the flow. If the predictor isn't right, you can simply quickly search within the same toolbar. So it saves clicks, reduces interruptions, feels like a bit of a co-pilot guiding the design. When you go to insert a fastener, AI understands the assembly context. It predicts where the fastener should go and automatically applies the correct mates. Removes the need to manually select faces or define constraints. It speeds up the repetitive task while keeping you in control. In future, it will recognize threads as a performance issue and ask you whether you want a simplified version, and then it'll create it. Going through and putting these mates in coincident and concentric automatically. Today, you can already accelerate rendering with AI denoising in SOLIDWORKS Visualize. But what about if you didn't have to set it up at all? Hopefully this will be coming later this year. Before we go to our second agenda item on how to connect to the platform, let's look at what's available and the benefits. You can see from the first two roles, AI is available with just a swimmer role. The swimmer role comes with the SOLIDWORKS add-in that lets you see the collaboration toolbar and gives you access to 3D Experience platform from within SOLIDWORKS. I'd recommend including it, and I believe it may be included by default now. The collaborative designer in the third row brings all the above, but also lets you store your files on the cloud and do revision management. But if you're not looking to do that, then that's okay as well. So before connecting to the platform, let's look at the benefits. Aura, the Explorer. Sorry about that. It leverages enterprise level web knowledge, can work as a project manager, business analyst. You can look at the content that you upload to your private platform in the communities, and it can go through search and summarize and bring back relevant data to you. Then you've got AI in session. As we've just seen, generative drawing creation, fast and recognition, assist AI like the command predictor. The following collated videos will show you the mechanics of connecting to the platform. What you'll notice for those who haven't connected to the platform previously is that it's getting easier. Let's see a few examples.
If you're an administrator on the 3D Experience platform, the first things you need to do are make sure your members have been invited. Their roles have been assigned and some key settings have been configured. All of your admin tools are set up and arranged on the platform management dashboard. If you're the first admin, you'll automatically be taken here at your first login. To return to it later, you can go to your dashboard's list from the hamburger menu in the upper left. The My Platform tab is a summary of the numbers for members, roles, and storage used at any given time. You can also set the name of your platform here to make it more meaningful to your organization. On the Members tab, current members of the platform appear at the top, and all the roles available to your organization are listed below that Members section. Each role contains a set of apps. You can click on the Information button next to any role to see the users and groups that have been assigned to it, the apps that are included in that role, and a description with a video highlight. And you may need to grant yourself some additional roles to get started. To do that, click on the Information button next to your name. View All lists all the available roles on your platform. So clicking on a role will grant it to you, along with any prerequisite roles that are required. To add additional users, click on Invite Members and add their email addresses. In the second step, you can add roles to everyone you're inviting. Now you can skip this step if you want to assign them individually like we did to ourselves, but everyone invited will get the required 3D Swimmer role since it's the base role for access to the platform. The additional app section is for some less commonly used add-ins. For example, this SOLIDWORKS add-in app allows a view of the platform from SOLIDWORKS, but it doesn't save or connect SOLIDWORKS data. Email invitations will be sent to those you've invited. They can accept the invite by clicking on the link in their email and logging in with their 3D Experience ID. The Content tab on the Platform Management dashboard contains settings related to your data. There's a lot here, but for most of it you can rely on the default settings. 3D Experience allows you to take advantage of two distinct cloud storage solutions. 3D Drive for secure file storage and simple file sharing to internal and external users, and 3D Space for secure and managed product data for internal use. The Drive's Control Center manages your 3D Drive storage spaces. If you want users to share files from their 3D Drive with anyone external to your organization, go to the Share with External setting and enable the shareable link. This allows them to share a SOLIDWORKS file externally for viewing, comment, and markup. The Collaborative Spaces Control Center is where you'll find settings for your data in 3D Space, managed in Collaborative Spaces.
So I've cut that there because we're not really looking to do the store and revise. I mean, that could be a whole different thing. We're just looking at the AI part of things. So that collaborative spaces is the thing that you'd set up if you wanted to go into the store and revision of your files on the cloud. So we could cover that another time. The second one we're going to have a look at here is when you are the client and not the administrator for the platform, and you're invited to connect. If you're connected to more than one tenant, then you would select the tenant that you've been invited into. So for those who don't know, you can be invited into a company's tenant. They can invite you in so that you can access their data if you're using that storage. But otherwise, you're only going to have your tenant to select when you go to log in. You'll see what I mean. So what we do, we go up to the tools and the add-ins, and we scroll till we get to the 3D Experience Marketplace, and we select OK. So everybody has that add-in that's got Desktop SOLIDWORKS. In your task pane, you'll see the little compass icon, and you can click on Let's Get Started. You log in. From here, you can actually make a password if you don't have a 3D Experience login. You select your platform. You can see you've got the swimmer app there already. All right. So in this next video, you've been invited by your admin, and they have given you the SOLIDWORKS add-in. So we're going to look at what happens if you don't install when prompted, because a lot of you guys are engineers and girls are engineers out there, and we like to break things. So we'll see what happens when we don't pick the default. But the easy way is to pick the default. But this gives you, for instance, again, if you have more than one tenant you're connected with, then select that tenant. Again, you can create your account if you don't have it. You must use the same login that you've been invited into the platform with. Here we do, just because we can. We'll go to the install later. Pick your tenant. Again, most people just have the one. So these are all the apps that come with that swimmer role. And you can see that there's a SOLIDWORKS add-in there. Now, if you click on the down arrow or the chevron, so there's a launcher that gets installed first, and when that's finished installing, the continue button is going to be made available. So just make sure you do that. Run the launcher, let it install, and then the continue button will become available, and then you select it. So if it's been a while and you didn't take up the initial offer to come onto the platform, you might have lost that initial email. So there's a new method that you can use as an admin to get access. Now, if you don't get an email from Dassault Systèmes, the parent company for SOLIDWORKS, email support@indicad.com.au and I will be able to get that link for you. As I said, if you don't get the email after going through that, it's only for the first time when you're going into the platform to become the administrator, and that person's the one that invites others in. Now, the third item on our agenda was the 3D Experience World 2026 highlights. But before we do that, we're just going to have a little bit of a recap. So we'll go to this is a dummy tenant that we've got going just for today. You see, you can click on here and rename. This is what comes up when you first log into the platform as the administrator. You'll see that you've got a platform management dashboard, and there's a few things just to note in here. If you go to members, you'll see that we've got some members up top here, and then you've got your roles that you might provide. If I go to invite a member, when you do it, just click off and then you can put someone else's email in here. You select whether they're a member. You can have as many administrators as you like. The administrators are the ones that can actually see this dashboard for the management. Once you've selected them, go next. Now, everybody who has access to the platform gets the swimmer role. You can turn off restrict usage to this platform, which just means if you're invited into someone else's platform, but you're going to have to use your own roles, that you can turn that off. So there's no problem with turning that off. But just hit the swimmer role, go next, and you can see the SOLIDWORKS add-in that we were talking about. That seems to be ordered by default. It seems to be ticked now. And then you just hit the invite. And again, the person goes into their SOLIDWORKS. So let's just do that. They go to their tools and add-ins. They scroll down through here and they look for the marketplace and tick it off, and then they'll have that coming up in their task pane. So just one more thing just to be aware of with the tenant is configuring the members options. You want to toggle this to the right to automatically ungrant expired roles. So at the end of the 12-month period that you might have, you want to have that turned on so that it automatically ungrants them. And that way, when your new license comes on, you won't have any issues. The other thing to mention is that if you go into content, if you're looking to use what they call share and markup, like sharing externally with somebody, you can share your files and they can view them in a browser. You have to go to share with external and turn that on, and then allow external users to view and comment on your shared content. So you'd have to turn that on as well. So that's basically it. That's all you have to do. As apart from inviting people in, you're sort of done with that part of things. If I go back, we'll just have a look at SOLIDWORKS. Now, the thing to remember is, InterCAD and SOLIDWORKS, we're together. We're aligned, but we are your business partner, we'd like to think at least. So a couple of things that I've noticed is that if I go in here, and I'll just open something. At the moment, for me, when I tried this, there was an issue. Maybe it's because I've got an old version of the file, but I've also got multiple tenants as well, which has been brought up as an issue. But what you'll find is that when you've installed the IFW, that you'll have this little bottle. I think it's some sort of scientific sort of apparatus, and then you'll see this information, which is all in beta. So we'll see it in the highlights video, the drawing creation. So if I select it, you'll also see that you get a new AI. So there's one called Aura, which looks at searching, summarizing, and analyzing. And then there's Leo, which is an engineering action for SOLIDWORKS. And then they've also got one called Marie, which is aimed at scientific knowledge, which is like materials, etc. Now, there's a really good reason for that. AI uses large language models to train these virtual AIs. And so each large language model is different. And the large language model is just a huge data set that it goes through and learns from and looks at patterns for. As far as the drawing goes, it looks for the geometric shapes that you've got. It does that comparison with what it's got in its data, looks for patterns, and then looks to where it would put the annotations and the dimensions and all those sort of things. So it's a difference between asking something that's got no idea what you're talking about to something that's been, got involved and looked at the data for 1,000 drawings and knows what you're talking about. So that's why they have the different sorts of AI. Anyway, you could probably get by without knowing that, but I think it's a good thing to know. So at the moment, this isn't working for me, but it says you want to create a drawing, use defaults. We'll see what happens. Another thing to remember is they've got the user forum, and if I click on that, they've got virtual companions in here as well, which allow you to summarize, translate, do all that sort of thing. So that's really interesting. If you are looking to maybe put processes, or if you have data that you've got to align with, like compliance, then you can actually use this. You can use this as well to load up that data into your platform, and it will do a search just on that. So at the moment it's showing the SOLIDWORKS user forum, but you can see that you've got your virtual companion in here. I can click on it and I can use that to do a search of the platform. And a similar thing happens when you put your documentation onto your platform. It only searches in that platform. It's not going to share that with anybody. So that's where compliance and that sort of thing come to fruition. So it's unable to answer now, which is what's happened to me before, but there is the older way of doing the auto generation. Basically, you can select the top level, and if this was an assembly and say these were parts, you could control select those as well. But if I go here and then right click, I can hit the auto generation drawing beta, and I can put in test. That just gives the title. The default's to use the name of the component and to save it into that location. The AI chat is running just on my machine, but when I've gone to connect to Leo, it's connecting to my platform. There was a question there about whether it was running locally or on a remote server. When I tick this off, it'll put it into this table and it'll go through and do it as a batch. So, you could have 4 or 5 drawings and it'll do the first one, then go to the next one and so on. So just to give you an idea, like everybody sort of can get excited about AI, and it is exciting, but there's still some ways to go. And yeah, just to be aware, just to be realistic about it, I think is a good thing as well. So having said that, if we go back to the highlights, which we'll do now, it is pretty exciting, and you'll see what I mean. We'll go through and have a look at this now.
Moments like these remind you that you are not just watching the future unfold, you are in it. Now, for SOLIDWORKS, AI didn't appear overnight, right? We have been delivering it over years, delivering AI capabilities that are already helping you work faster, more efficiently today. But what's different now is the scale. We are moving beyond isolated features now. We are embedding intelligence directly into the design process, starting from the very first idea. These are our virtual companions. You saw it yesterday. They are your expert partners there when you need them, helping you deliver better work faster. Every great design starts with curiosity. That's why we start with Aura. She explores, she connects. Aura embraces existing knowledge and know-how to inspire you, to guide you when you start something new. You can ask her for help directly from inside SOLIDWORKS. You have one robot, you're trying to go towards battleboard. What can you do? You can explore options, search for inspirations, and test new directions without exposing your idea to the rest of the world. Your search stays yours, your creativity stays yours. Now, once the idea takes shape, the next challenge is turning it into something real. That's where Leo steps in. Leo is your expert guide that is going to help you. Now, in this particular case, let's ask Leo to generate that assembly structure for the battleboard, to plan out our design. He gives you a starting point so that you don't have to start from zero. It knows what components needs to go in there. But you don't just have to take it. You can iterate it with Leo. You can finalize it, and the moment you finalize it, you have the assembly structure. In future, we will also be able to grab the assembly components that you may have from your repository or even from your suppliers to give you the assembly. But today, you are able to get the assembly structure. Now, not every design starts from a blank screen. Very often, you are starting from what already exists. And this story was inspired from a real scenario. One of our teammates, Priyanka, a mom, her toddler Kabir, and mom's need of carrying a cup. By the way, both mom and with image to mesh, you can take an image and quickly convert it into 3D mesh to provide the context in which you are going to build real things. And once you begin iterating, that's often where the problem shows up, and all of you might be noticing it. Features fail, references break, errors appear, right? This is also where Leo steps in. It analyzes the issue, it guides you through the model, and explains you what is going wrong and how to fix it. But in future, we don't want to stop here. We also want to fix those errors for you, because we want you to stay focused on the design, not on the detours. Performance ultimately comes down to good design practices, and Leo is there to help. With Leo, you can now evaluate your assembly as a whole. He analyzes how it was built, identifies what is impacting performance, and explains why it is happening. More importantly, Leo gives you a clear set of recommendations, so you know exactly what to change to make your assemblies run faster. Now, beyond fixing issues, we also want to help you understand your design at a higher level. What if you can simply talk to your model? Ask straightforward questions. How many parts are there? Which ones are made up of aluminum? Can I provide a simple text prompt in order to convert all the parts of a given material to something else? Imagine doing it yourself manually, one part at a time. You can do it by just chatting with the model now. It's faster than doing manually. And more importantly, it lets you focus on the big picture, not on the tedious steps, manual steps. Now, that understanding shouldn't stop at the model, right? It should carry through to how you communicate it. Last year, we introduced generative drawings, and you told us that you want control. Now you can interact with Leo to define the exact specifications before the drawing is generated. It is no longer a one-size-fits-all. You want one standard, you choose one standard. If you want to choose other standard, you want to choose a different sheet size, you can specify all of that up front. Ultimately, you get drawings that reflect your standards, your intent, and your requirements. A year-long future. How about creating geometry directly from natural language? Let me show you what I mean. I showed the live demo of the Model Mania model. It was a simple scenario, right? So let's take a look at the Model Mania 2025. In fact, one friend of mine told me that it was very simple. Okay, let's take this example. What if you can just talk and ask Leo to build it for you? Build a model of a certain size. Select all the vertical edges. Add holes on the top face. Add hole on the side face. You are speaking to the model. You're speaking to Leo, and Leo is creating the model for you. In fact, this entire sequence was enacted without going to a single command. Text to CAD, speech to CAD. What do you think about that? Now, the next one is truly amazing one. I kept the best for the last, of course, right? Imagine you are someone who has to design a steel structure frame to support a water tank. By the way, before going there, I will tell you that I implemented weldments, and you will see it in the next segment why I am saying that. So for me, it is a heartbreaking thing, but still I'll share it with you. Imagine someone designing that I want a steel structure to support a water tank with a specification like it has to be cylindrical water tank, maximum capacity of 5,000 liters, 500,000 liters, minimum diameter, maximum, whatever. These are the specifications. What if you gave this specification to Leo, and Leo worked on it in SOLIDWORKS, or with SOLIDWORKS, I should say, to give you something like this in under 5 minutes, which you then can run simulation on to verify that the loading conditions will ensure that it is going to survive that weight, and ultimately deliver this design. 5 minutes. How many of you think you'll be able to do it in 5 minutes? What do you think about that? This is just the beginning. You can imagine we are going from requirements to delivering full functional model. And everything that I have shown is working today. Some of them will be released soon. FD01, I should say in month or two. These ones may be released in 6 months from now, but everything that I have shown today to you is working. I'm not showing you any videos per se. Now, while we are all excited about AI, what AI makes possible, it's not the only way we move forward. We are also delivering more than 200 different projects driven by your feedback. From the top 10 list alone, we have delivered more than 30 enhancements. Things like quick render, annotation alignment with magnetic lines, ability to isolate components again while already in isolate mode. Small changes, real impact that you asked for.
Yeah, so very interesting. I know that you can look at that sort of stuff yourself, but I figured if we are putting this together and you're putting the time aside, that seeing where we're going and, bit of editing to just grab the main points would be quite useful. So I hope you enjoyed that. It's really amazing. Just to go back to the drawing that we were looking at, I said that the main problem there seems to be there's a problem if you've got more than one tenant. So you can see that it connects through that task pane to your tenant. One of the questions that was asked was whether that tenant was, or that chat was local or on a remote machine. It's actually going through to your platform. So that's where the connection is. That's why you've got to have IFW installed and the 3D experience add-in ticked so that you're actually connected to the platform. Other things that he did, you might have noticed there that when he was going through the drawing, that it was for wind loads in Massachusetts. What they've done there is that they've grabbed the standard and they've loaded it up onto their tenant, and the software, or Leo, the AI, has used that to look at the compliance, the standards that are required to make that water stand. So that's where they seem to be going. And yeah, I've tried a few things myself and they've worked really well. Not sure why Leo isn't working, but I think it's to do with that multiple tenant issue that's been brought up as well. So, but for most of you, that'll work pretty seamlessly. So the last part of it, practical adoption roadmap. If you're interested, this first step would be, to get connected. You can call us or email us and we'll look at your cloud services for you if you want us to go through and do that. Make sure you've got the add-in active. So when you go to your tools and add-ins, you select Marketplace and you can be invited in. If you haven't used your admin activation, like the email that you get when you first get cloud services, there is that way where you can actually go in now as the admin, go to Marketplace and click on the Let's Go, and you can put your email address in and get that link back, get it sent to you again. As I said, if you don't get it, please let us know. We can sort of get that sorted for you. With the assign proper roles, let me just show you something quickly on that. What you get when you do that add-in for SOLIDWORKS, so this isn't the store and revise and all that sort of stuff. This is just the AI. You get a lifecycle and collaboration tab. So that's what it does. And if you wanted to share this with a third party, you then have a share button that you can use, and it'll go through and make a link in this 3D XML format, which is a dumb format, so that someone can't back engineer your work, and you can share that file. You do the same things with assemblies and with drawings, and there's different ways you can do that. You can, with a part, you can actually share the part as well, but there's step and all that sort of stuff. So you'll get that share button. One of the other things you'll be able to do is you can look at your collaborative tasks. So that gives you a view of what's on your platform, and you can have your tasks there and move them to do and in work and that sort of thing. So that's what you get when you tick that extra box for the SOLIDWORKS add-in, as opposed to the revision management and that sort of thing. So definitely worth a look to go through. If you are looking to do revision management and storing, give us a yell. We can help you with that. We actually do a paid onboarding service if you need to. We can help you with it. But it's about cleaning up your metadata and your naming systems and all that sort of stuff. But we can take you through that. But as far as the AI goes, maybe start with using the search and reuse if you're looking for that part of it, and then look at automate drawings. Now, what I've done is I'll put a couple of recent webinars and a link there, a Q code. So that first one is that covered taking something into your community, into the wiki, what they call a wiki feed, which is where you would put any documentation that you wanted to use, the search and summarize part, the aura part of the AI. So that was covered in that webinar, and you're welcome to have a look as well. We also, as an aside, we had a CAD and PDM webinar just recently as well, so I put the Q code in for that. So as far as doing what's next, if you check your connection status, the best way seems to be to have either a pilot team or an internal champion. If you let it go, it won't happen. That's normal. If you need a health check, we can review your current setup. We do an onboarding service that's free. Just let us know. And we can, you can run like a paid trial where you actually get access to the platform. It's for 3 months usually, and you have access to other apps as well, but that's sort of not a bad way to do it. So it's a small cost. The revision management and all that, as I said, we're not really talking about that today. It's more about AI, but you can go through and book an onboarding session as well. So keep an eye out after this webinar. We're going to have a follow-up email containing the webinar recording. And also there's some special offers that we've got out at the moment for today's attendees, which are supported by Dassault Systèmes. So they'll be available. So if you were thinking of coming on board with the cloud services to get access to AI, upgrading your subscription to cloud services is a fairly cheap way to do it. And with the extra special offers that they've got, it's well worth it. Also, we're running a workflow management webinar, which is one of the products we've got, and you'll get emails sent out and social posts and information will be on our website as well. So anyone that's in this webinar, they'll see the workflow management webinars that we're running, and it'll be something that I think you're interested in because we've also used some AI in that as well. I'd like to thank everybody for coming, and I appreciate your time. I hope you get something out of this, and if you want to contact me or my team, please let me know. My details are there, and you'll also, as I said, get a marketing email. So thanks very much, and all the best for the rest of the day. Thank you.